Shalom. Praise Yahweh. Praise Yahweh ben Yahweh, the nation of Yahweh and the tribe of Yehuda. This your brother Shem Yahweh ben Yahweh, the priest, the prophet, and judge. Samuel judged Israel all the days of his life, and that's what I'm here doing here in these last days, in the person of Samuel, in the spirit of YAHWEH. Praise Yahweh. Well, today, brothers and sisters, we're going to be coming out of chapter 2 of the Honorable Yahweh ben Yahweh's book, which he wrote and froze on the page, because a lot of people misunderstood his message. So he was before time, in time, on time, and he wrote books and scrolls for us to go back, because he said, check me out for more sake. So we're going to be Can you hear me now? Can you hear me out there now if anybody is on there? Okay. See, like I say, when we trying to do something for Yahweh, the enemy is always trying to stop the message. I'm gonna take this back up because I don't know how much of this message that you couldn't hear. But we talking about the world's best kept secret, our true history, lesson number 2. So we dealing with nationality today. What is our nationality? Because Yahweh ben Yahweh, that's what he came to bring to our attention, that we are suffering from a national identity crisis and we are not nationally known. We are not publicly known as Hebrew Israelites. It's not documented. You still have on your application, when you fill out an application, are you black or white, Hispanic or others? They still have not accepted us. So the year is 2026, brothers and sisters. And I did some research on 2026 because I find the year 2026, I find it something very special about this year. As you can see, how the year already done started off. So when we go do our study on, I'm gonna digress from a little bit. We're gonna come back to this lesson of the world's best kept secret because all this goes together. So the year 2026, when you look up the number 20, you go and ask Google, what's the significance of the year 20, or the number 20? And then you go ask, what's the significance of the year 2026? It's going to bring you back to the geometry of the number 26, which is God, Yahweh's name is going to say YHWH. It has to do with judgment and waiting. What have we been waiting for? We've been waiting for a lot of things. We've been waiting for the judgment of Yahweh. We've been waiting for the redemption of Yahweh. We've been waiting to bring forth this truth. We've been waiting on our kingdom. We've been waiting on Yahweh to judge our oppressors. Hmm? So when you go into that word, or that the number 20, excuse me, and then you look up 26, Yahweh is going to be there all day. So I did some more research, and Trump in 2000, I believe 2017, 2016, this government know who we are, and it's been documented that they know who we are, but we still running around not. We haven't made it publicly known. We can run around making videos talking about we the Israelites, but it's something else that needs to be done. So I'm gonna go into this document. This is crazy. I'm about to go into this document, hearing from the government itself. I'm gonna read it to you. Give me a second. Trump 400-year recognition of the African Americans. I'm gonna read this out to you. The 400-year of African American History Commission was a federal body establishment by Congress in 2018 through the 400 Years of African American History Commissions Act to commemorate the 400th anniversary starting in 1619, although Yahweh ben Yahweh said we was here since 1555, of Africans arriving in the English colonies at Point Comfort, Virginia, highlighting their resilience, contributions in the painful history of slavery and racism in the United States, with activities commemorated by the National Park Service. Did y'all hear that? Let's get some more on this. Now this is part of the HR 1242, 400 Years of African American History Act. You can go look this up in Congress.gov, which is the HR bill, House Resolution bill, or the House of Reparations bill, whatever you want to call it. But in this bill, it says 400 Years of African American History Act. This bill establishes the 400 years of African history to develop and carry out activities throughout the United States and the English colonies at Point Comfort in Virginia. It said the commissions must the commission must. You know when you must do something? They've been commanded to do this. These people recognize who we are. And they've been commanded through Donald Trump. This is what's confusing, because you see the actions of the administration taking right now today. And then when you hear this act, it makes you think and wonder, hold on, wait a minute. These people know who we are. These people know that we are the children of Israel. These people know that Genesis 15, where it says Abraham's seed will be put in bondage and be in a strange land for a period of 400 years and be afflicted. They know that scripture. How do I know? Because of this HR bill right here. It says that they're planning programs to acknowledge the impact of slavery, the laws that enforce racial discrimination that they had on in the United States, encourage civic, patriotic, historical, educational, artistic, religious, and economic organizations to organize and participate in anniversary activities, assist nonprofit organizations to further and commemorate and coordinate for the public's scholarly research of the arrival of Africans, which we all know that we are Hebrews in the United States, and their contributions to this country. So these people know that up under the status of African American, that's not our status, brothers and sisters. That's why Yahweh Ben Yahweh wrote it down for us to go back and study our nationality, because we're not African American. We're not from two continents. See, we were brought over here in slavery. Deuteronomy 28:68 makes that clear. We were brought here on slave ships. You understand? We were brought here to America. We didn't come here on our own. You know, hey, let us go to America and make a living like everybody else. No, we came with chains of iron around our necks. And that part of our story, people don't want to accept that. Yahweh say he will leave signs and wonders on us. My brother say the significance of 20 spans multiply areas representing completion, balance, and spiritual journeys in religious texts. That's what I like about my brother. He go right in there and get it. Praise Yahweh. The significance of 20 spans multiply areas and representing completions, balance, and spiritual journeys in religious texts, like a full waiting period of Jacob. Praise Yahweh. Like I said, brothers and sisters, you know what we've been waiting for. You know, the Bible says those that kill with the sword shall die by the sword. And this is the faith and the patience of the saints. This has been a waiting period. The book of Revelation say we were sitting waiting under the altar for the rest of our sons to be, our brothers and sisters to be crucified like we have been. See, the whole nation of Yahweh was persecuted because of our faith, because of our testimony in Yahweh. Come on with that, bro. Jacob, who is Israel. What else? The significance of 26 is diverse, spanning from the 26 letters of the English alphabet, the atomic number of iron, to deep spiritual meaning like geometric, the name YHWH. Thanks for pointing that out. What? Yeah, praise Yahweh, because Yahweh said he give us eyes to see. He said, blessed is the man that see the things that we see and hear what we hear, because many prophets and righteous teachers wish to hear those things that we see and hear, brothers and sisters. But they have not heard this message. They was not here to see Yahweh ben Yahweh. They couldn't stand in his presence. And we've been blessed to hear Yahweh. Yahweh ben Yahweh say, those of you here sitting here now before me, you are that chosen generation. So we see YHWH, YAHWEH, is involved in 2026. I don't care how you look at it. Yahweh is in the midst of 2026. Just look at all the events that's taking place. We ain't even finished the month out yet. We haven't even finished the month of January out, and we already talking about wars. We already having riots and disruption in the government right now. So I thought I'd just share that with you. And it's more when you look deeply into HR Bill 1226, HR Bill 1226. Let me go back to that. Like I said, brothers and sisters, I'm just getting used to this live and trying to operate these programs, learn how to operate these programs right. Let me see. So for these people to just come out and write a bill, House Resolution 1226, which commemorates the African History Act, acknowledging us of being here, being in slavery. Got them now. It says 400 Years of African American History Commission Act. Now remember, this was in September the 6th, 2016. We got to remember these dates of when they do things, because they do things and we as a people, we forget, because there's so many events that's coming back to back to back to back, so much prophecy, and we forget the things that they already executive orders that they passed 5 years ago up under this president and what they signed in the, you know. So if we don't study what they're doing, we can never put this together. And that's one thing about our people. They are caught up in the politics and they don't know what they're voting for. Let us get to it. It's a September the 6th, 2016, order to be printed. The Committee of Energy and Natural Resources, so which is referred to the bill of HR 49 to establish the 400 Years of African American History Commissions Act, and for other purposes, having considered the same, reports favorably without amendment and recommended that the bill is due pass. In August 1619, the first documented Africans arrived in the English colonies in Virginia. The group recorded upon arrival as 20 odd Negroes. Remember, I'm reporting this from the HR bill that's written in Congress. So when they're sitting in there having these G6 summits and sitting up there at the in the UN, they having these discussions about what to do with us. See, that's what all these wars. Don't let these wars fool you, and these diplomatic arguments fool you, because it's all about Israel. It's all about keeping us hidden from our identity, so we won't be able to claim our inheritance. It says they were on their way to Veracruz aboard a Portuguese ship when they were captured off the coast of Mexico by the White Lion, an English warship flying a Dutch flag and operating under Dutch letters of marque. The White Lion transported them to Virginia. There they were put ashore. Hold on, the White Lion. If I ain't mistaken, that movie, what was the name of that movie? The End of the World, that Obama had something to do with. It came out on Netflix. If I ain't mistaken, if anybody seen that movie, when that ship came up on the shore, was it called the White Lion? That just brought something back to my remembrance. The White Lion. So it says the White Lion and other English warships flying a Dutch flag and operating under Dutch letters of marque. The White Lion transported them to Virginia, where they were put ashore at Old Point Comfort, in what is now Hampton, Virginia, and sold as voluntary laborers or indentured servants. Slavery had not been institutionalized at that point, so these Africans or Hebrews were informed they would work under contract for a certain period of time before being granted freedom and the rights afforded another settler. Let me stop right there for a minute too, brothers and sisters. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to keep interjecting, because you see they made contracts. When you go to Judges chapter 2, Yahweh says, don't make no league with the inhabitants of this land. Meaning, don't enter into no contracts with the inhabitants of the land, because it's going to become a snare unto you. And when you go do some research on the study of contracts or leagues, it's going to open up a whole bunch of things for you. And you're going to see what it was that Yahweh told us not to enter in with these nations. He told us to go in and destroy their altars, break down their sacred pillars, and burn their sacred images. That was our instructions when we go into the land. But no, we wanted to come in, make contracts, make agreements, get into mortgages, 30-year mortgages and things like that, when tomorrow is not promised. So as you can see, these slaves enter into a contract for a certain period of time before being granted freedom and rights offered afforded to other settlers. Whites expected freedom areas. No such year accomplished the names of the African indentured servants. The historic arrival of the group of 20 and odd Negroes marked the beginning of the trend in colonial America, where people of Africa were taken unwillingly. But we know this was people of Israelite descent that was taken unwillingly from their homeland and transplanted and committed to lifelong slavery and racial discrimination. August 2019 will mark 400 years since the first arrival of Africans to present day America. There is an interest in commemorating the contributions that Americans of African descent. No, this is Israelite, Hebrew Israelite descent. Absolutely. Somebody said they are oath breakers. Remember, adhesion contracts are still contracts. You can say that again. Breaking the oath. That's why the Bible say don't take no oaths in no other name but Yahweh. See, we ain't supposed to be taking no oaths or entering in no fraternities or swearing in, doing all this Masonic worship and all these other things that we take oaths to do. Swearing and pledging allegiances to other sovereign nations. We are supposed to pledge our allegiance to Yahweh, to the nation of Yahweh, to Israel. That's the only allegiance that we are supposed to be pledging. Hallelujah. Praise Yahweh. Like I said, I'm on a road trip right now, and I just pulled over for a break, so I decided to just drop in and give a little lesson here, share some things that I've been studying lately. What else we have here? Remember, this is in black and white. Their writings. There is an interest in commemorating the contributions that Americans of African descent have made to help shape the culture, academic, social, economic, and moral attributes of this nation. A federal 400 Years of African American History Commission will mark this historic heritage. Praise Yahweh. So I just thought I wanted to share. I wanted to share that with you because these people know who we are. Do not think for 1 second that the United States government do not know that we are of Abraham's seed and that we are the children of the promise and that land over there that they fighting so hard to keep up, it belongs to us. But like I said, this message got to deal with our nationality. We're not getting no inheritance until we are nationally recognized. And we ain't barking loud enough, especially the nation of Yahweh. Yahweh Ben Yahweh left us all this literature. He left us the keys. But it seemed like we ain't making no, yeah, I'm finna go there. It seemed like we ain't making no noise. You got people coming in talking about, oh, well, what y'all, the nation of Yahweh did, what they doing. They ain't, look, what are we doing? Because when I type in Yahweh Ben Yahweh and stroll down, I only see a couple brothers and sisters that's standing for the name Yahweh, that's trying to change the algorithm. Because you see what's all in the algorithm, all that negative when you first go on there, all the negative stuff. And I know they ain't gonna like this. I know a lot of people don't like this type of talk. But Yahweh raised me up to talk this way. And I'm gonna talk this way. Y'all ain't heard nothing yet, man. No, they ain't heard nothing yet. Because Yahweh got a lot to say. And Yahweh Ben Yahweh say, I will never do these things for you again. He knew his nationality. He came in the volume of the book. He said, I'll never do these things for y'all again. I ain't gonna do this for y'all again. Thine own nation has delivered you up. Imagine that. It's a lot of people that don't, it seems like you profess Yahweh. You say Yahweh, praise Yahweh, Ben Yahweh. But it's like you got your own agenda. You have your own agenda when it comes to Yahweh, Ben Yahweh. See, I'm glad I don't have an agenda. The only agenda that I have is to declare the name of Yahweh and to get Yahweh Ben Yahweh's message out by any means necessary. That's what he said he had witnesses for. You think he wrote out, you think he wasted his time to write these things down on the page for us? You think Yahweh Ben Yahweh wrote all these books, sat in jail, went to prison, still teaching Yahweh's word, on the cross, in the tomb, teaching Yahweh's word. He could have just shut right up then. Man, bump that. My nation ain't gonna do nothing for me. I ain't teaching them nothing else no more. He was still writing books. So I'm gonna get back to lesson number 2 because I don't have that much time left. So like I said, we're just talking at Yahweh and Yahweh talk today. I'm just sharing a few things. So don't act like this message is supposed to be perfect. Just get what you can get out of it, and we're gonna continue on the build. But the main theme is nationality. Nationality. Some of us say we Indians. Some of us say we Moors. Some of us say we nationalists or whatever nationality. We don't have it right. Colored man, black man, Afro man, jigaboo man, dog, my nigga. All these terms they got to go. They got to go. It's time. It's time. I think a lot of y'all scared out there. That's another thing. A lot of y'all scared when it comes to Yahweh ben Yahweh. You scared. Just admit it. You scared. You don't want to put your face on the line. You don't want to put your job on the line. You don't want to, your neighbors to be ashamed of you. And you continue to hide behind the camera. See, praise Yahweh. HR Bill 1220. What you got? 1226. HR 1226. 1242, but 1226. What is that? And that's another thing. Why don't the nation of Yahweh support each other? Huh? Yeah, all this still tied into nationality because as a nation, if we're not one, we're not nothing. Yahweh ben Yahweh said, when you are showing love to one another, then you are truly my disciple. He says HR 12, HRB 44, in the current 119 Congress 2025-2026 is the Black History is American History Act, a bill aiming to mandate the inclusion of Black history in federal educational programs. See, you see what, bruh, man, it's so much in there that they don't, and they got us so confused, got our minds caught up on protests and ICE and all of these different things that we can't even stay focused on the mission at hand. The mission at hand is our nationality. We the Hebrew. They're trying to deter the message. The message is we are the Hebrew Israelites, tribe of Judah, God's chosen people. Yahweh ben Yahweh is the Messiah. He is the one that came and loosed the seals. He is the one that came and wrote all officials documentation concerning who we are. And his name is documented. You know why I said this is the record of the Son of Man? Yahweh ben Yahweh left behind a record. It's recorded. Was something that popped up as well when looking for 1226 Act. Yes, that's what I was saying. The HR Bill 1242. HR Bill 1242, and you came across 1226. Back to the 26 again. 12 represents the 12 tribes of Israel. Back. So it's all in their writings, brothers and sisters. But we don't look at these bills. You don't take the time out to look at the bill before you sign the bill. That's why Yahweh ben Yahweh, when you read uh, lesson number 2 of the world's best kept secret, he has nationality highlighted. He has nationality highlighted. And one thing I like about this is I don't know everything. Yahweh raised me up. I wasn't, I wasn't spoon fed. See, that's why the scripture say those that ain't never seen me, they gonna praise and worship me even more. Because we operate on divine spirit. This all spirit. This all inculcating the mind of Yahweh ben Yahweh and taking this 10-step study method and studying and researching the facts of a thing. And when we put our heads together, ain't nothing can restrain us from doing nothing. That's why I can't understand why we so spread it out. Why ain't it a big rival of the nation of Yahweh? Why we got one over here in Canada, you got another one down here in Orlando, you got another one over here in Texas, you got another one over here. And when we gonna get together? Yahweh ben Yahweh placed his name in Miami, as he stated in the video, the crucifixion of Yahweh ben Yahweh. I acknowledge a lot of my brothers' works, what they're doing out there. I don't knock nobody works concerning Yahweh, but I do have a big problem. Absolutely, we have the blessing of having to rely on the truth and not like ones who was here for the physical. Praise Yahweh, brothers. You can say that again, because a lot of people they there was a lot of body watchers out there. That's why Yahweh ben Yahweh had to um continue to say, if you had a problem with his body, close your eyes because you're missing out on something. That's why he said you're missing out on something. Because a lot of them came in the temple looking at his turban and this man think he God, and they left and missed out. And they thought it was about the physical, but it's not about the physical. He said, try the spirit by the spirit. And where there is two gathered in his name, he shall be in the midst. Yahweh ben Yahweh also said, sitting in this building with my body, sitting in this auditorium with my body is not enough. Because they thought, because they was there with Yahweh ben Yahweh in the temple up under him, you know what I mean? Everything was done for you. You didn't have to do nothing. You didn't know what Yahweh ben Yahweh was teaching us. You couldn't grasp hold of what Yahweh ben Yahweh was doing in the spirit. He said these buildings are just a physical manifestation of what I'm doing here in the spirit. I must be about my Father's business. And waking us up, giving us our nationality. That's why he said the cities of the south will be shut up and no man shall open them. And then in Deuteronomy 28:68, that we'll be bought up over here on ships and no man will buy us. No man will redeem us. No man gonna come and teach us what Yahweh ben Yahweh taught us. No man gonna come teach you your nationality. No man gonna show you interest in pointing you back to the land of Israel, especially no church. I'm gonna get back into lesson number 2 because like I say, I got so much to say, and I'm just trying to cram everything in because I don't have that much time. I got to get back on the road, but I praise y'all for those that did stop in to give an ear. Lesson number 2: the world's best kept secret. And a lot of people think this hate. What claiming your nationality got to do with hate? Yahweh said, I will make you high above all nations that are upon the face of the earth. Nations got to do with nationality. So he was going to take our nationality, which is the Hebrew Israelites, and place us higher than China, place us higher than the UN, place us higher than America. Whatever leading super country you see leading today, he said he'll make us higher than them. And that's what they don't want us to know. That's why they have a vast interest of us not knowing our nationality. And that's why I say today we need to take a national stand. You see what I mean? This is so important because we don't have a status. They got us when Yahweh Ben Yahweh, one of the study tools that he told us that we must have was the Lost Black Dictionary. And when you look in the Lost Black Dictionary, you're going to see some very interesting words. One of the very interesting words is color of law. It's a word called color of law, and under the color of law, they hide our nationality under the color of law. See, they say we are black. When you look up under the color of law, it's hiding a set of facts. It's hiding the truth of what's really there. So they call us black. Praise Yahweh. Shalom Aleichem to the citizens of Yahweh's empire. See, Yahweh building an empire, man, that nobody can't see. Not building, he already built it. We just coming into the knowledge of it. That this is our empire. Notice I said our empire. And a lot of people take offensive to that when I say our empire. Because we as Hebrew Israelites, we haven't walked in our kingdom. Daniel 2:44. That in the days of those kings that Yahweh shall set up a kingdom that's going to crush all these other kingdoms and governments. That's what's taking place right now. You see? Praise Yahweh. Hallelujah, Yahweh. Hallelujah, Yahweh. Ben Yahweh. So Yahweh doing something very awesome in 2026. 26, Yud Hey Wav Hey, numerical number. He's all in it. And all of us, we have assignments out here to do. I don't got to tell you what your assignment is. You know what your assignment is. If Yahweh raised you up and called you by your name, not by your government name, you know you have a job to do. So Deuteronomy 29:29 say, um, secret, the secrets belonging to the Lord Yahweh and his children forever. So this world's best kept secret, this secret belonged to us. That's why Yahweh Ben Yahweh came and revealed it to us. And it's not a secret anymore. And that's what got the nations in an uproar. So we're gonna continue on with the world's best kept secret, lesson number 2. We left off on I start right here. However, if you ask the black man of America, whose foreparents were slaves, what's his nationality? See, he got nationality in bold letters. He will say such foolish things as nigger, Negro, black, colored, American, Afro American, Balalian, Ace of Spade, Jig, Coon, Baptist, Muslim. He names himself that way. How many of us speak Negroese? How many of us speak Blackese, Coonese, Americanese? He got question marks by these, and they need to be answered. They need to be answered. Yet, how many of us have Negro names, or black names, or colored names? Stop right there. Colored names. My uncle on his license, it said colored on it. Colored. Now, why why would they call us colored? What are they trying to hide? Why we gotta go from color to black, to Chinese, to Ace of Spades, to Coon, black people, niggers, African Americans? Why we gotta go through all those metamorphoses? Jackie Chan come to America, they still call him Jackie Chan. They know he come from China somewhere, Hong Kong somewhere. He don't change his name when he come from China to America to fit America's approval. The German Shepherd don't come from German. When you take the German Shepherd from German and send him to China, He's still a German shepherd. He don't become a China shepherd, a Chinese shepherd. So today, Yahweh ben Yahweh imposing the question, what is our nationality? It's one thing to run around America talking about we Hebrew, Kwam Yasharala, Kwam Yasharala, we Hebrews, we this and that. But we ain't, they're not hearing us, brothers and sisters. We need a status change. We got to correct our status because they don't recognize us. That's why they're making beef about the 14th Amendment. See, they say, oh, all these other people don't belong here, but the black people. But when you carefully scrutinize what's really being said, we as black people, we really don't have a status. Yes, they could tell us to get up and go. You don't got no status here. Remember, you black. Black comes with ignorance when you look the definition up. Sinful, evil, wicked. And that's why they labeled us black. Because you don't have a status. When you go to court, guess what? You need a mouthpiece. They don't even want to hear from you in court because they recognize you as dead. You need a representative. You need somebody to represent you when you supposed to be presenting yourself as a son of Yahweh, as a daughter of Yahweh, like Yahweh ben Yahweh did. See? He said some in the book of Isaiah, he said some of us should subscribe to the name Yahweh. Some gonna change our name to Israel. Some gonna serve name ourselves this way. That's Yahweh already pointing us back into our nationality. That we have to come back into these names. So you have a man like Yahweh ben Yahweh coming to loose the seal of Psalms 83. Praise Yahweh. Praise Yahweh. Shalom Aleichem. Yaakov. Uh, somebody say. Another tool is the Webster Dictionary 1828 edition with the golden eagle. Praise Yahweh. The golden eagle. Ooh, that's another one. Man, we got so much to talk about. I studied that golden eagle, that especially the golden eagle that Donald Trump had on the podium. See, everything they show us is a symbol. And I did some research on that golden eagle, but appreciate you for the what you say, the 18, what edition that is? I'm gonna have to check that out. 1828 edition with the golden eagle. Okay, I say Isaiah 6 to say to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord and the day of vengeance of our God to comfort all that mourn. Praise Yahweh. I'm glad you brought that up too, because that is dealing with our redemption. Because when it was quoted in the New Testament, he says, the Spirit of the Lord Yahweh is upon me because he has anointed me to preach good tidings. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty. But then it says he closed the book and he gave it back. But see, when you open it up to Isaiah 61 and 2, he closed the book so that we can open it back up and understand what that prophecy was saying. That's Yahweh saying he's going to build the old wasteland. He's going to give us beauty for ashes. We are going to be called the ministers of Yahweh. That's what he was really preaching. That's what the good news is all about. They don't put our people up under the gospel. Gospel. You've been under the gospel of the Europeans ever since they came with the Constantine doctrine and the sun worship. You've been under a gospel. This good news, that the good tidings is what Yahweh ben Yahweh brought to us. Coming building the wasteland, rebuilding the downtrodden, restoring the name Yahweh, giving us economics, giving us our spirituality back, our peace back, physically, economically, educationally, socially, and spiritually. Praise Yahweh. And one thing I love about Yahweh ben Yahweh is that he ain't need nobody validation. He ain't need y'all validation and how you feel and what it should say and you know go spend. Ah, yeah, my brother. Cool. My brother said ghost spell. That's the ghost spell. You know what I mean? And we waking up to all of these, different, the etymology of words and how they put these words together. That's why Yahweh Ben Yahweh say in the beginning was the word, and the word was Yahweh. He is the word. He taught us how to break down words, you know, and how to look at a word. We've been looking at the word Jerusalem for a long time now. All these wise men, hmm, all the wise men, been looking at the word Jerusalem and talking about Jerusalem, and USA sitting right in the middle of Jerusalem, where the children of Israel will be held in captivity at, where the Son Yahweh will come and proclaim Yahweh. Praise Yahweh. Go cast a spell. God's spell. Go cast a spell. But I like that though. I like that. Brother. He got a job on our hands. Y'all, I'm about to be late, man. I'm about to be late while I'm going because I done got into this word and I don't want to crank up and leave. You said something about a law, book. You said something. Yes, I mentioned the Laws Black Dictionary. The Laws Black Dictionary. That's a law book. That's the book that most judges and all attorneys that they have that book right there. They have it right there in the courtroom. And you go look up these words. Me looking at them, I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. Like when you look at the word estate, real estate, these words are parallel to the Bible. We are the real estate. We is the property that they stole. See, but they got it parallel. They got it hidden in their law. And because we don't study the law, we don't study law from a legal point of stance, and we supposed to be 360. So when we start, Yahweh Ben Yahweh put that book up there for a reason. And I remember when I was out there, I was probably like 17 years old, and I was out there doing my thing, with the average person that ain't got no direction out there doing. But I was always a humble guy that listened and gave my ear to the word. So it was a guy, a friend of mine that I grew up with, he had, I stopped pulled to the side and he said, "Hey man, I see you riding around with that loud music, around here wilding and clowning. Shoot, you know what you're gonna do when them boys get behind you?" I was like, "Man, I ain't worrying about them boys getting behind me." So he was like, "Hey, um, you ever heard of the Lost Black Dictionary?" I was like, "Nah, I ain't never heard of no Lost Black Dictionary." Make a long story short, that was over my head. I was not conscious then, but I took that in. And then when I came into the knowledge of Yahweh Ben Yahweh, I seen that was one of the books that he had. And my mom was about to throw that book away. Somebody gave her some books, so she had that book, and I got it. And when I looked at it, I started looking at the words. It had words in it like trespass, injury. See, we look at the word injury like if you've been injured in an accident, call Richard Mulholland and whatnot. No, not that type of injury. We've been injured as a nation of people. We've been traumatized. You know what I'm saying? We've been mentally destroyed. Those type of injuries happen to us. And then you look in the book, it mentions an expert witness. We are to become expert witnesses in this truth. He said, some of you going to be delivered up into the councils for my name's sake, for witnessing a testimony against them. So we are to be expert witnesses in knowing this truth and presenting it in front of a magistrate if we had to, because this international information. See, this is international. This is an international affair because they're not going to hear this here. This international has to be known. You have to go before the international tribunal courts because these are international crimes. Praise Yahweh. I know y'all don't want to talk about this, but I'm talking about this. Yahweh raised us up to do this. Who else gonna do this? Hmm? Who else gonna do this? Yahweh said, who gonna stand in the gap for me? Yo, what do you say? My other brother. Yahweh Shalom. Praise Yahweh. We are destroyed for the lack of knowledge. Absolutely. And that's one thing we're being destroyed for because we lacking this knowledge. I can't even get past this nationality part. You know, studying up under Yahweh Ben Yahweh, you can sit there and listen and hear all his tapes. Let's sit at his feet. I'm talking about you could go through his whole library, but you ain't heard everything. You go back and listen to the Good Shepherd. You probably heard the Good Shepherd over 20,000 times. But every time you hear the Good Shepherd, there's something that was missed in the last time you heard. These books, like I said, nationality is very, very important. We ain't getting nowhere because you're not recognized. You're still trying to go in court, talking up for yourself. They don't hear you. You just a dead nigga. That's what necros. He said necros, something that is dead in their eyesight. Therefore, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. You are going into captivity. You have no knowledge, and their honorable men are famished, and their multitude is dried up with thirst. Praise Yahweh. Well. I knew I wasn't gonna get through all what I wanted to get through because a lot of people say, "Man, you talk." Yes, right, I do talk too much. Yahweh got a lot to say. I remember Yahweh say, "I can stand." You see how much you got to study? Y'all see how much we got to study? I can stand here all day doing this for you, but you see how much we got to study? And each and every one of you that's right here live, that tuned in right now, praise Yahweh. Praise Yahweh for your channel. May Yahweh keep blessing the channel. May Yahweh continue to raise us up. And when you talk, I hear Yahweh talk. You sound like Yahweh. You look like Yahweh. You act like Yahweh. Praise Yahweh. Don't let nobody tell you that you ain't Yahweh. And don't be discouraged by these people that's trying to steal this truth out of us. You know, you on your job. It's almost like you got to go to work being a spy undercover. Because if you go to work dressing your nationality, talking your nationality, walking in your light, walking as the son of Yahweh like he told us to be, it's like, hold on, man, what these people not reading the Bible? Because here it is, we manifesting ourselves. We doing what the book said. You ain't reading about us no more. We right here talking in your face. And then they get together in their little pockets and they blackball you. Yeah, they do. They blackball you. What my brother said. Oh shoot. Excuse me. You said something about it. Y'all cool, funny. Why would a brother call himself Michael the Black Man after learning? Hey, brother, you know, I guess I know we have a lot of questions alike. We think like mine. Because we wasn't there, brothers and sisters. So they had firsthand encounter, but see, everything we doing is being revealed to us through spirit. That's why it's spooking. Go to talking about stuff like, oh, well, you was there. You was there. No, Yahweh Ben Yahweh told me to say this. What you think? Yeah, we channeling the spirit. Y'all channeling on it. What else you gonna channel? Hmm? The Ruach. Yeah, I don't understand how a man can call himself Michael the Black Man. But what I do find interesting is because I seen the video, what the lady named Rachel Maddox on NBCN, whatever that news. Well, back in 2019, 2018, they did a whole nother thing about Yahweh Ben Yahweh. Bringing Yahweh Ben Yahweh up, talking about Yahweh Ben Yahweh followers is gaining momentum. See what they worried about? They worrying about the numbers. If we gaining strength, if they gonna come back and get the nation together and all that. You see, that's how you know Yahweh Ben Yahweh is a threat. And we got more numbers than what's being reported, but our people is not coming out. They doing other things. And I don't understand how, when I watched that video, Trump turned around and pointed at Michael the Black Man and got his sign and held it up. So he know who the Yahwehs is, brothers and sisters. Don't get it twisted. They know who the Yahwehs is. But we ain't making enough noise. Hmm? Yahweh say, when I stand you up as an exceedingly mighty army, and I ain't talking about no army to go to war and kill nobody, nothing physical, because they always twist our words. When I stand you up as a nation of people and present you to the world, what he say? I will have called myself Yaakov the Yahweh. My brother, those deceivers, 2,000 years are almost up anyway, like what stated in Revelation 20. What's so crazy about that is in 2033 will be the Catholic 2,000-year anniversary. The Catholic 2,000 year. And that's another thing. They ain't escaping either. I mean, when Yahweh ben Yahweh made his appearance and revealed the name Yahweh, that should have been the anniversary right there. But they continue to hide the name Yahweh, but slowly try to manifest it. That's one thing I ain't with no pope or that pope, but I'm with righteousness. This Pope Francis that just passed, if you go do some research on him, he was trying to reveal the name to the church. He was trying to straighten up years of secrecy that they've been hiding from us. And I think that's why they knocked them off. Because it's documented that he said that they hid this name for over 2,000 years coming out his mouth. They said that the name in Exodus 3:14, I am that I am, it refers back to you. It refers back to Yahweh. So the problem is what they call the damage control. There's a lot of damage control going on. When Yahweh ben Yahweh came and made his appearance, and they saw the movement and they saw the awakening and people, you know, coming into the knowledge of Yahweh, they had to do damage control. They had to infiltrate it. They had to create camps. They had to start a lot of little fires around. You understand? That's what they had to do. Yahweh ben Yahweh came and proclaimed Yahweh. So now you got Yahweh, you got Yahuwah, you got Yahweh, you got Jehovah, you got all of these different things now, which is confusion. And I hate to have that being a hang up because Yahweh said his name, Yahweh ben Yahweh. He said Yahweh, but he pointed you back to Yod He Waveh, the name written on his forehead. That's his name, Yod He Waveh. That's it. But it was a process. I had to take you from Lord to God, from God to Jehovah, from Jehovah to Yahweh, to Yahweh to Yud Hey Wav Hey. Cause I come saying Yud Hey Wav Hey, you don't even know you Hebrew yet. Why I'm gonna say Yod Hey Wav Hey? They don't even know Hallelujah is a Hebrew name, a Hebrew word. So Yahweh ben Yahweh had to come in the volume of the book, but he pointed you back to Yod Hey Wav Hey. Oh man, the Tetragrammaton, that ain't his name. That's Yiddish. That's this, that's that. We ain't speaking Yiddish. Well, you speaking in English today, my brother. You stuck in your English tongue and you're not from England. Back to our nationality once again. You speak in Yiddish. You want to say we speak in Yiddish? You speak in English, which is Yiddish. We ain't trying to sit here and argue about what his name is. We're talking about the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You see what I mean? And if you want to make a differential, you want to make a difference, put a difference between Yahweh and Yahuwah or Yahweh or whatever, go right ahead. You can go ahead and draw that line. So I'm gonna just finish up with this last little paragraph because I got to get back on this road, brother, and I'll be back up on here later. So it says, before slavery, over 400 years ago, we were somebody. Who? If America had to be given back to the Indians right now, because that's a lot. That's what's going on too. You know, like my brother Akaz said, we want to try to steal somebody else's identity. We need to be worrying about this Hebrew Israelite identity. If America had to be given back to the Indians right now, and all races in America had to return to their native land, where would we, the so-called Negro, the so-called blacks, go? Think about this. You are going to say, "Oh, I'll go to Africa." Then you'll still have the same question and problem. Where in Africa? Africa is tribal. Everybody has a tribal land according to Africa. What is your tribe? What part of Africa would you settle in? There is one of the most important questions for our people. Without this knowledge, we are lost and cut off as a nation of people. We are suffering from an identity crisis. We are suffering from an identity crisis. We are suffering from an identity crisis. That crisis has not been fixed yet, brothers and sisters. That's why it's in black and white, because we are the ones to fix it. See, Yahweh ben Yahweh, he just came to loose the seals. You know when you loose something up, your little son in the back seat, and he said, "Daddy, open this up for me." You have a water bottle, you open it, but you don't completely open it up. You just twist the top off and hand it back and let him take the top off. And that's what Yahweh ben Yahweh left it up to us to do. He had confidence in us that we will be able to take this top off after he loosed the seals thereof. That's why he gave us his 10-step study method to see where he was coming from. Shem Yah, you ain't lying. We are like undercover nimble in this society. I saw her interview. Praise Yahweh. They know. They can say I changed my name back to my real name, and my job accepted the truth. Gave them no choice. Praise Yahweh, brother. Praise Yahweh. My brother Yaakov did that too. You know, a lot of us need to do that. And I'm in the process of doing that right now. It hit me like a ton of bricks. Although I don't subscribe to my government name, I still speak that, but it still has to be made known, documented. That's Yahweh ben Yahweh documented. See, and I went to court. I had to go to court. See, Yahweh sent me through some places, and I know it had to be him because it was nothing that I done. My car was legit and everything, but I got pulled over and my license was suspended. I didn't know it. So they took me to jail. And guess what? After doing my own study and research, 2 Timothy 2:15, I had an argument because see, long as we standing on the right hand of Yahweh, that's why I say we are given unalienable rights, meaning rights that can't be changed. I have a right to travel. See? So my argument was, and this ain't got nothing to do with no, what you is Moorish and all that, you're a sovereign citizen. No, this ain't got nothing to do with that. Matter of fact, don't go calling yourself a sovereign citizen, because that's not the word that you can define. The word sovereign in there, we are citizens of Yahweh, which already make you sovereign, because the nation of Yahweh is sovereign. So when I made my appearance, see, the son of Yahweh is to appear. We are to appear. I appeared, but I didn't appear in my government name. I appeared in my attire, dressed in all white with my turban on. That's what they tried to do. They wanted me to take my turban off. Why? Ain't that's my right? Would you tell the Pope to take his little hat off his head? Will you tell the small hat people to take their hats off their head when they have to go handle legal issues? Well, see, right then and there, you violating my right. So I had them so jacked up because when I had to make my declaration of who I was, I took my birth certificate in there and I handed them my birth certificate and told them, "This is who you looking for." And they looked at me like I was funny, but looking at me like I knew what I was talking about. I say, this is the person that you're looking for? This corporation right here? And he was like, I say, I'm here in representing Samuel. Because that is my name. I didn't change my name is Samuel. My name's Samuel. That's my legal name. And I was born 11/11. You know what I mean? So it's just so many things that point me to my being, to my person. Just like y'all waking up, realizing who you are, your being, Jacob, aka, you know the true essence of who you are, your spiritual being. So when I went in there, I told them, I am the living man. I am not a slave. I am not the subject. And I wish to have this matter thrown out today. And he said, under what ground? I said, based on the knowledge that um I have a right to travel versus a privilege to drive. He looked at the state attorneys and he was like, well, I don't think they're in a position to throw this case out. I was like, well, yeah, I would like to have this dismissed. He said, well, I'm going to appoint you a public. I said, no, I don't want you to appoint me no public defender because I'm here presenting myself. I don't need a representative. So he said, well, I'm going to still set this off. Make a long story short, they still appointed me a public defender. And this is how I know that the system is crooked, because I recorded they behind. Yeah, I had them recorded. They recorded me. I got them lying. I got them trying to force me to take a plea. They threatened me with jail, told me that I was gonna get I could face 30 to 60 days in jail. I told them, let's run it. Because today I'm gonna see if your constitution is dead or alive. You said I have a right to travel versus the privilege to drive. So I learned that long as I use the language of that I'm traveling in an automobile versus driving in a motor vehicle. See, the two languages, you got to go to the motor vehicle. Don't use the word motor vehicle. I'm exercising my rights, my unalienable right, which cannot be infringed upon, to travel freely upon these highways and public roads without injuring or hurting anyone. So my state attorney my public defender said, well, I hear that argument, but I'm not going to argue that argument. If you want me to argue that argument, you're going to have to fire me. I say, I am going to fire you, but not now, because I still don't have the knowledge of how to write my own motions. I'm going to get you to fill out a motion for me. And guess what? I lost the motion because he wasn't looking out for the best of my interests. So after I lost the motion hearing, they asked me, did I still want to go to trial? And I said, yes, I want to go to trial. I'm going to exercise my right, my Yahweh given right. Notice I said Yahweh given right, because that's how I spoke. My Yahweh given unalienable right. So I said, you know what? Ask them this. Tell them if they, matter of fact, the reason what I was pulled over for, I was coming from work. I went to Walmart. I stopped and got gas. As I was coming out of Walmart, the stop sign right there, and there's a little white line before the stop sign. So supposedly an undercover was sitting in the parking lot and saw me. My tires rolled past the white line of the stop sign, which was a lie. I stopped at the stop sign. But because I'm driving in the BMW, and it's I hate to use this word, but black guy, because it's a nigga driving, they wanted to, harass me. So they ended up doing that, taking me to jail. I had to go to court. I fought my charges and I beat all my charges. They threw them out. They said I didn't have a seatbelt on. They said that I was driving with license suspended. Yeah, no seatbelt, driving with license suspended, and I ran the stop sign. I beat all of those charges. They threw every single last one of them out because I stood on the law of me traveling, and I didn't fall in their jurisdiction. They wanted me to say I was driving an automobile. I mean, I'm driving a motor vehicle, but I say I'm traveling in the automobile. So it's a language called legalese when it comes to law. They speak a legalese language. That's why you can't understand their language. And when you look at the Laws Black Dictionary, it's parallel to the Bible. You need to know the laws, the codes, and the statutes. The way we know the Bible, we got to know the Laws Black Dictionary that same way because they fit hand in hand. Praise Yahweh. I gotta hurry up, man. I changed my name and went before the judge, and they rescheduled it because it wasn't published in the local media, but it's gonna change. Praise Yahweh. That sure did happen, and immediately after is when he started to get ill and sick all of a sudden. Praise Yahweh. Yes, I changed my legal name, and we given magistrates with Jewish names. I confess I can confess with my true nationality name, I get treated differently. Praise Yahweh, most definitely we get treated different. As long as you got a name called Mr. Green, Mr. Black, Mr. Johnson, and Mr. Brown, and Mr. Undertree and Overtree. Hold on, my brothers and sisters. I got to take this call 1 second. Praise Yahweh, Ben Yahweh, the nation of Yahweh, and the tribe of Judah. We're gonna continue this later on, brothers and sisters. Y'all continue to stay in that word. We got so much to talk about. Praise Yahweh.